1-0. Hi, folks. Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and I've got an incredible broadcast for you today. One of my oldest friends, I mean, not like he's old. I mean, I'm old. He's not old. No, one of my oldest friends, one of my biggest longevity friends in the car business, somebody I've known forever, Eric Miltsch. This guy is not only a super performing dealer, he's the co-founder of Dealer Teamwork. And we're going to talk about search. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. But before I do that, I have to do a little housekeeping. So stay with me. Make sure this broadcast stays public and goes public. Hang on. Wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. That's the only thing I want to be. Because if I was an Oscar Mayer wiener, all the world would be in love with me. Okay, we are public. Okay, hope you enjoyed the little interlude there. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Eric Miltsch. Hi, Eric. How you doing?
I'm great, buddy. How are you? Thank you for having me on today.
Best day of my life. We already got Max Clem, Michelle McLean, and James Klaus.
Hey, James. Smiling James on.
You know James? Yeah, he's even on the broadcast. He's already out there touting Eric is the best. I mean, he's got that on the sidebar already.
Well, you know, I pay him to say that, so that's fair.
That's a good thing. Well, what have you been up to, big guy?
Oh, my goodness, James. It's just there's so much great stuff going on. So we're taking a look at, we're trying to take a look at what's going on in the industry first. You got to start high level. So there's a great new concept that we've been really, really trying to make sure that the community shares it. And so I appreciate you having me on today to be able to share that. You've always been a great.
I've been looking forward to that conversation, but let's have another conversation first.
Sure.
Okay. This audience is already building up quick. You're pretty popular. How's the Corvette? Let's talk about something important.
Actually, news for you on that. I got rid of it because I'm looking to get a new one. And unfortunately, that new C8 is delayed slightly. I don't know if you saw that or not. But
yeah.
They're announcing it, I think, on July 18th. But that's a front runner for me right now. I've got to be honest with you. But looking forward for that being announced. That's supposed to come out, I believe, at the beginning of next year. But I don't know if you've seen this as well. Corvette sales are down like 20% or maybe 25% since like 2015 when it peaked. And the values on these cars now, in my opinion, the new C tremendously. So, but yeah, that new C8 is what I got my eye on. So,
well, I always drive domestic cars because all my contracts are with domestic manufacturers, and I'm getting the new Lincoln Aviator that's coming in.
I saw that. Congratulations. That's great. I saw you're moving too. Congratulations on that as well.
Well, we're moving back to Georgia. We got family things up there. My son and our grandkids and my wife's relatives. So we're moving back to Georgia. Not that we didn't love our time at the Villages, but it's time to get back up there. Just our roots. We lived there 35 years. So what the heck? So my wife grew up there. Right. But yeah, I'm getting a new Lincoln Aviator. Really excited about that. Hey, Jason Rice just showed up.
What's up, Jason?
Diane Uzelac, Michelle McLean, Klaus. We got some heavy hitters on the sidebar here, big guy.
Good to see everybody. That's awesome.
Brian Amo.
Brian, I know Brian.
He's not on, but he's been commenting all morning about you. So I'm sure he'll show up any minute. You know Brian?
Brian and I worked at our first dealership. Remember when we blew up Auction Direct USA? Brian.
Well, let's talk about Auction Direct. When you had Auction Direct, that was amazing because you guys are doing what kind of business at that store?
Well, we were an independent store. We started off with one small little place. It was like a tiny little ranch house. Could barely put one car in the showroom. And we tried to do something different. We were way ahead of the curve.
That was you and Ognabine, wasn't it?
No, he was in another market. He's nearby. That was, remember John Iannone? He was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. John Arnone. Yeah. I do remember.
He had a great idea. Brought me in. We built. We did everything internally. We didn't use any external vendors for a lot of the stuff that people use, except the main things, obviously. But we built our website inside, internally. And long story short, Jim, we built that into the #1 used car independent store in the country for 3 years running.
In the United States of America.
Independently owned. We did about 8,000 used cars a year. It was a one-price store. We did a lot of things different. And, it's funny looking back, we didn't know what we were doing at the time, but it laid the groundwork for a lot of the concepts that we're seeing today with regards
That's
to.
where I wanted to go with this conversation.
Yeah. So
you're not some vendor that's always been a vendor that was a techno geek that graduated from some, quit it. No, I mean, you graduated from the streets. You built the biggest independent used car dealer in the country. And you did it with some of the techniques we're going to be talking about today that have developed and evolved and grown. And now you got dealer teamwork.
Yeah, so we're extremely lucky. It was a crazy idea. Literally started in the basement of Dan Mondello's house, and several years back. And Dan and Pat Walker, our lead developer back in the day, with doing the heavy lifting. And then it was the three of us. And then I called my good friend Sean Stapleton, dragged him out of retirement. He still likes to say to this day that I ruined his retirement that year. But we brought him out, and we started. We started with this idea about. It started initially, Jim, as a way to make your specials a lot faster. Well, we realized right away one key thing: it wasn't about the specials. It was about creating relevant and specific content for an omnichannel approach. So we built a platform first, and then we just added on these other elements that everybody in the industry for years, Jim, call it the old world. Everybody was doing the old world mentality of, it wasn't a platform. It was single tactics, singular tactics, as I call it, multi-vendor approach. It wasn't relevant. Certainly wasn't automated. And so we fixed all of these problems that dealers face every single day.
Okay, slow down a second now.
I get excited about it. So
I understand relative content, not automated with most of those platforms. So we're talking about delivering content that translates into selling cars. Now, how does that translate into sales?
Well, first off, let me paint the picture a little bit broader stroke for everybody, okay? We live in a new era right now, okay? And it's fair to say, and I think everybody would agree, that with the name that we're trying to apply to this, and I'd like to call it the dynamic personalized economy. And, Gary Vee came out years ago with this connected economy type of concept. Well, we've evolved beyond that. And I like to call it the dynamic personalized economy. In this new era, if those people that are unwilling to change, it creates a positive future. And we've seen this, and I'll explain a little bit more. Those that are not changing are, unfortunately, they're experiencing an unacceptably negative future. And so what we're doing is we're essentially describing that old world type of approach. Like I said, those that are still doing it today, unfortunately, because this technology never existed before. So we wanted to create something that was a dynamic platform. Start with a platform, you build other elements on top of it. So you start with this omnichannel approach, being able to take relevant content and push it out to all the marketing channels. So simple question, Jim, what are the primary marketing channels? It's simple. It's paid search, earned, that's your organic search, your social, and obviously your email. So that's a channel that you own. So those 4 channels, to take your relevant content, namely your pricing and your payments and your transactional data elements, to put those elements into your marketing channel for a car dealership. And I know I did this for years, to do it on a manual basis. That's the old world. And so this new world that we've created, again, working from a platform that goes omnichannel, that includes dynamic landing pages, that has dynamic paid search with payments included, again, including real-time transactional data to all the platforms or to all the channels. And again, ultimately doing it on one vendor. That's this new world, Jim. And so
So you're talking about payments.
Well, I'm talking about anything that relates to what the customer is searching for. So it's
what
not
the customer is searching for.
So we have people.
Let me back you up on that a second. Let me back up just a second. One thing I know, 43 years in the car business.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the car business, a while. And one thing I can tell you, people don't buy price. people buy the monthly payment, and so many dealers don't feature payments. They're too busy pushing price, and the only reason consumers even care about price is because they're trying to negotiate to get a lower payment.
Right. And is it fair to say that at least somewhere along the buying process, whether they're home, talking to their friends, doing their research, or in the showroom, at some point in time, wouldn't you agree with me that the customer is asking at some point, how much is this going to cost me per month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by following that logic, and we know about 90% of all deals, 88, 89% are all financed some way, shape, or form, lease or loan. So if that's the case, if that's the way customers act, why not make it simpler for the dealer to create an omnichannel type of approach using one simple tool and platform to be able to push it out to all the channels? Is that simple enough for you?
It's very simple, but the industry doesn't get it.
Well, it's taken a little bit of time, and we're trying to educate, and again, mentors like you are allowing platforms like this to exist so we can share this great info. And believe me, it's taken time. So, the first couple of years, people looked at us like we were speaking Greek, and it didn't make sense. Well, think of it like this, Jim. Is there any other product that anybody else makes right now, and that when they make or sell or buy, that doesn't have some type of landing page experience? You see an ad, it has the price, it has the details, it's got the merchandising that we like to say for the automotive industry. But yet when you click on that ad, it doesn't, that you've done after you've done your Google search or your internet search, it doesn't include the answer to the question. And then you click it, your post-click experience is horrible. The ad or the offer doesn't match. It's not congruent. And then, once you finally click through to that site experience, it just falls apart. And so we've tried to fix those major problems again that our industry specifically has been plagued with by, for years. And fortunately enough, again, we're lucky and fortunate that the solution works. It's easy, it's intuitive, people trust it, and it works day in and day out. And
that's the problem. So many people are talking above the dealer's head. They're talking way up 30,000 feet, and they're not down where the dealers live.
Right.
Now where we live, I hear about M-pop. What is an M-pop? I don't know. I mean, is that a Hanson song? Like M-pop, M-pop. No, I don't.
Well, think of it like this. Obviously, people like Sean Stapleton and myself and James Klaus and the other great people we've got on team, Katie Donovan, all the people that were involved from day one. We knew that we were onto something, and it had to be unique. How do you be unique? Obviously, we had to use our marketing brains, and we had to create something different. So we labeled this platform an MPOP, and that's a big fancy term that we like to put together and made the acronym for. We call it a merchandising, personalization, and optimization platform. Again, a lot of big words, but all you have to think of it like this is on a very simple basis. Everybody knows what a CMS is, right? A content management system. That's what their websites are. So we've made it very simple. We've basically taken the CMS and made it even more powerful, and we basically call it a relevancy engine or a relevant CMS. And so it allows you to be able to take that relevant pricing data, create a campaign, and distribute it. I like to say it in 3 simple words, Jim. Create, manage, and distribute highly relevant marketing campaigns through all of your marketing.
Relevant to what the customer is searching for, because
you're spot on.
So many people are depending on the lead providers as if they were the salvation, when they're just basically stealing your customers and renting them back to you.
Right. And if anybody follows any other industry in terms of a way that a true omni-channel type of marketing campaign works, it operates on that premise, a very simple premise there, that is in terms of taking relevant content and pushing it out to all the marketing channels. And again, the key thing here is automation. We're not talking set it and forget it. We're talking, managed processes where you simply have, there is some work that has to be done. That's literally why we put it in our company name, Dealer Teamwork. It does take a team to make the, to create the successes. And with that basic understanding that I just described of the create, distribute, and manage philosophy, now you start to understand just the basic core mechanics of any marketing 101 course that any person would go through to be able to understand about in terms of creating relevancy around a campaign, to be able to share that through again, the simple concept. A lot of people espouse it, but they don't necessarily practice it in terms of the concept of, the right ad on the right device at the right time. So that's all we've done. We've made it very simple for the dealer to do this, because the dealer.
Let me ask you this. Now,
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember the Meatloaf song from the 70s, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Sure.
And he said, there ain't no Coupe de Ville lying at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box.
Right.
Well, the truth of the matter is, with all the choices people have today, you got to dig through a bunch of poop to find a pearl.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's saying their poop is special, and there's a pearl in there somewhere. And you got to, but I know for a fact that dealer teamwork works.
I know you've been involved for a long time.
Use your process. They're getting great results. But tell me some of your successes. Tell me why it works and what it does. You haven't achieved that yet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the next logical progression. So, obviously we've got some core qualities in terms of what it does, in terms of being, consistent and efficient and reliable. But what does that mean to the dealer? Very simple. In terms of being able to create new campaigns much faster and more efficient. And the end result, Jim, is incredible in terms of being able to eliminate the wasted spend that plagues our industry right now because of that low quality. There's a lot of wasted spend throughout in terms of paid search, standalone SEO, and even now more than ever too with the paid social media. So you got rid of the wasted spend. You get a lot more efficient in terms of how long it might take to actually create these campaigns. And the true net result is better lead quality that be able to drive, higher quality opportunities for engagement and ultimately conversion. And then what we like to, really hang our hat on is the ability to track this. The accountability is probably one of the Achilles heel of the industry right now in terms of reporting. So, getting away from, this is one of my favorite topics, Jim. I know you're going to love this. Getting away from those metrics that most marketing companies wind up, falling into victim of using. For instance, would you say that dealers drive to work every morning saying, geez, you know what? I hope my marketing vendor calls me today and tells me that my bounce rate dropped 12.5%, because if that happened, I'm surely going to sell more cars today. That doesn't happen. What does a dealer think about on their way into the office? I hope we get more walk-in traffic. I hope we get more phone calls, and I hope we get more people to show up for the appointments. And that's what we wind up creating because of the ability to make these campaigns so much faster. They're so much more relevant, and we're putting them out to everywhere where a customer may be, regardless of the marketing channel. Again, creates more opportunities. We don't sell the car. We just give you more opportunities to help sell it, obviously. So,
okay, now, if I've always said that the website was the showroom and Google was the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been a Zieglerism of mine. The website's the showroom, Google's the weapon, and whoever uses the weapon most effectively wins the war.
Well, here's the thing. They're not putting the right bullets into the weapon. They're not using the right ammo. And that's what we're providing. We're not only giving you the right ammo, we're giving you so much more. We're giving you a long clip.
Relevant content that the customer's actually looking for. How does it affect your Google placement? Let's talk about page 1.
Absolutely. So there's a couple places you can fall. And I'll cover a third one that I've uncovered that we've been leveraging as well. First, obviously, paid search. We've because of the relevancy, we're creating such higher ad quality. And now what happens is you wind up getting a much higher result while paying less. And what happens with that? If you get a better click-through rate because of higher relevancy, your cost drops. It's just a natural formula. So you're taking care of the paid search. And obviously, why do you need to be in paid search? And I'm not just talking about buying your brand name. Don't buy, we limit that. That's part of the elimination of the waste concept. So what we want to do is really hang our hat more on, can we create a targeted campaign for the right audience, the right location, and then even more so at that lower level. It's not a major portion of the campaign, but what if somebody's at the tail end, Jim, they're in the market, they've already had the awareness, they've got through the consideration, now they're at the purchase phase. Again, Ford Explorer lease payment, Ford Explorer price, interest rate, whatever. We are going to have about 184 ads available for Google to be able to take. Those are the bullets that you're putting into your weapon, just like you said. And what happens with that? Now we start knocking down the target much better. It's easier to bring them in, and the end result, again, more opportunities, and it costs less. Now let's flip the script. The ads that we're creating are one channel. That content also populates into a specific model, a model-specific rather, landing page. So again, Ford F-150 for the example. Now we've got a landing page that is all about that page in a specific city, optimized from top to bottom, page titles, URLs, H1s, conversational long-form content, internal deep links, images, video. It's got everything that Google wants literally in their guidebook that they recommend, again, regardless of the industry. So you've got everything that you need for a page that does what? It winds up ranking organically. So now you improve your organic presence too. So we start picking off traffic again from paid and the organic channels very, very easily. And again, what did this solve? Let's take a step back. Remember I said in the beginning, you're using multiple vendors. There's no need now to have stacked vendors, as I've called it for years, because just by leveraging the content in the platform that we provide, married to the content that the dealer is putting into the MPOP, into our platform, the pricing marries to that page, creates that content. And what does Google love? They love when pages are updated dynamically. Now we're back to that dynamic, personalized economy. That's what we've solved.
I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. You know that I'm in the process of getting a Lincoln Aviator.
Yep.
I've already priced it out, and I've already got one of the vice presidents of Ford Motor Company building me one. So I've got a special order, special deal. Just
the Alpha Dawg model.
The Alpha Dawg model, like I did with my last Corvette. So anyway, I'm curious about what the lease payment would be. I'm thinking seriously about maybe I'll go back to leasing instead of paying cash, maybe. I couldn't find a lease payment on the vehicle without filling out a form to Edmunds, Cars, or Trader, or any of those people. I mean,
and I know how much you hate forms.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to completely commit before you can get the information. And it didn't ever put me to a dealer's website.
And that's the old world mentality described in the beginning, right?
And I mean, this is me real world, I mean,
yeah.
Now I could call up a dealer and get all the inside stuff and buy rate, double discount. I could do all that. But I just wanted to see what online, a little quietly, what I could do.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be difficult like that. But here's the problem. The dealer can't provide that because it's literally impossible to do it at scale consistently by hand. And I think most of the people listening and watching and following along will agree that you cannot do that at scale. Now, if you were a small little dirt lot and you had 10 cars, sure, I'll give you that. But if you're talking at scale, multiple rooftops even at that level, there's no way you're going to be able to keep that up by putting consistent pricing that creates that omnichannel approach through paid, organic, search, and email, all the channels that you have the opportunity to have your marketing go to do that again at scale over and over consistently. Yeah, it's impossible. So we created the technology and the platform to do that.
Well, you created this technology. You were fooling with it back when I first met you, when you were
So here's the thing. Dan and Pat were playing around with us literally as an internal solution. And then when we started talking about it, we were looking at how the process changes it, how the concept can, truly has legs. And I saw the forest for the trees, and I said, yeah, this is a home run. We've got to be able to test this out. So we started slowly putting clients onto it. And sure enough, Jim, it changed the process. It changed the cost structure. It obviously changed the results that they got in terms of, the amount of opportunities that it created. And now fast forward a couple of years, the way that Google has changed, just between the algorithm updates, between the paid search updates, when we did this first, there was still a side rail of sidebar ads. Now it's changed where it's 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. So the whole dynamic in the ecosystem has changed so rapidly that we've continued to stay up with those changes as well to make sure that we're still a mile ahead of anybody else doing this. And again, here's one big, great, huge example. Walk-in store visits. It's a metric that a lot of dealers aren't even aware exists. It's not available to everyone yet, but it's slowly being rolled out. So fortunately for some of our dealers, we provide the transparency for the accountability to be able to show what those performance metrics actually are. And again, I'm not talking bounce rate, I'm not talking pages viewed. Those are shown, but we want to focus in on the results. Remember your favorite, one of your favorite acronyms, DISC. Does it sell cars? We want to show the dealer those activities and actions that truly, completely transform their efforts. And so we want to focus in on phone calls, Google click to call, website click to call, obviously the DNI numbers. We want to look at the form conversions, and then lastly, we've got these in-store visits that now we can show, and we've got dealers that are showing 300, 400, 500, 600 walk-ins per month that we can attribute back to our campaigns. And again, that changes the way these dealers focus in on it. It changes the way that they think about the other alternative solutions. Nothing else out there exists like this to be able to provide that type of transparency and that type of changing of the guard, again, from that old world to this new world of this dynamic, personalized economy that we're working in now. And again, that's the type of solution that dealers should be aware of, that is now available, and to change their thinking. Okay.
Well, I talked to Mr. Klaus and I talked to Mr. Stapleton, and now I'm talking to you. And we sort of struck a deal that my dealers can get a free evaluation of their total marketing concept. Is that still good?
Of course it is. Of course it is. And
you guys will do that without charging the dealers?
Absolutely. So here's what we like to do. We like to take a look at the website, and there's two levels of it. We can take a front end view. If the dealer is gracious enough to give us, 24 hours of read-write access of their Google Analytics, we can obviously uncover a lot more items. We want to look at the process. We want to look at the type of activity. We'll even dive in, Jim, and we'll take a look at what their navigation structure looks like.
And you'll do this without obligation.
Absolutely.
They don't have to buy what you're selling.
Absolutely. We've done so many of these now, and we uncover things again that the dealers aren't even aware of. Here's a simple takeaway.
I know you were charging $1,600 for this service.
Yeah, initially that's what we were out of the gate, but we realized there was just so much value baked into it. And again, and I would say this, we're looking at close to 100%, 100% opt-in. Once a dealer sees this, they realize the value that we've uncovered for them. And again, here I'll lead you off with this. We always take a look at the Google My Business page. Again, it's not even something that we take care of, but it's something we strongly recommend, because you have the opportunity to just throw a UTM tracking tag, obviously a Google tag that will allow the dealer to be able to track how many times somebody has clicked on their call to action, their website button, and their Google My Business page. Well,
now let me ask you something. Are you selling their data on the open market?
Absolutely not. There's no need for that. That's not our model. That's not our objective.
I got to tell you, most every major lead provider, almost every CRM, almost every company that has access to the dealer's data is selling it on the open market. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, it does happen, but it's not part of our business model. But
so their information is safe with you. That impresses the heck out of me.
Well, what we want to do is, we don't care about that side of the coin. We care about being able to give valuable takeaway elements that they can literally go and fix right away. The big picture things, obviously, they will need us to help, in terms of using the platform. But let me just add this to it.
Are you co-op approved with anybody?
We sure are. We've got several relationships right now. We are co-opable with Ford, with Kia, with BMW Mini, and with FCA. So all
FCA.
Yeah. So we've got all
BMW Mini.
Yep.
Ford.
Yes. So we've got several agreements in place right now. We're working on several more as well. It's taken some time, obviously, for us to tell our story and the changing of the guard in this new world. But we're it's starting to catch. It's starting to really catch on, and the OEMs are really paying attention to.
So you're co-op approved with 4 major OEMs right now.
Yes, and like I said, we've got a few others that we're working on. We'd obviously like to add to that portfolio. We want to be able to help. And the good thing is, too, on top of that, even if it isn't co-opable, Jim, we're platform agnostic, meaning we work with any website provider. So we can still work with the dealer, even if it isn't, co-opable. But again, there's a ton of value that's baked into this in terms of being able to save money elsewhere. And again, I know your stance on it. Just because it's co-opable doesn't necessarily mean it's the right solution. So we always recommend, for those that we are not co-opable with, we still have them. We still recommend do the audit, take a product overview and just take a look at how this will affect the rest of the allocation.
Well, my stance on that. I mean,
I know
there are some great vendors that are co-opable, and there's some real poop. I mean, and I've had dealers, you wouldn't believe it. I've had dealers say to me, "Well, Jim, I know it's a crappy vendor, but it's co-opable."
Yeah, I know, and it's an unfortunate element of the industry, but we've positioned ourselves well with the relationships that we have, and the performance speaks for itself. And for those dealers that are interested, like I said, I welcome you to take a product overview so you can compare. And we try to position it like this, Jim. We tell everybody, let's learn together. Whether you're a one-store group, medium group, or one of the largest in the country, it's not a broad stroke approach. It doesn't fit everybody in the same way. So let's learn what your steps are, your processes are, the people that are involved, and we'll show you exactly where the opportunities are, because everybody uses it differently. And again, that's the beauty, Jim, of having a platform like we've created, the MPOP, because that platform allows you now to customize that based on your processes, based on your location, based on your brands.
What kind of support do these people get? You install it and then you're gone?
No, absolutely not. From day one, we had an internal, our internal mantra, our mindset was, even if we have the most, the greatest technology in the world, doesn't matter about that. What matters is the relationship with the people that are using it. So we created a concept, obviously, that all of our client-facing, front-facing employees would be Google and Bing certified. So all of our account managers, all of our search managers, they need to obviously understand how to walk the walk and talk the talk with the dealers. So we spend a long time, teaching them those things, with the certification. But
you got training. You got training involved.
Yeah, and that's part of my new role as well. Besides being the co-founder, I'm also the director of marketing, which involves our internal trading. So not only do I help train the account managers and the search managers on how to handle just the relationship piece of it. I've always said that's my strong point in terms of dealing with the dealer, and it's communicating these strategies and the guidance. The other side of it is we train our sales department as well, because sales it's not about just finding a dealer, getting them on the phone and being like an insurance salesman and dumping out all your papers on the desk and selling them everything you got. You got to find out what their situation is. You got to find out what their problem is. It's not about just a shotgun sales approach. So we want to support everybody. And check this out. I know you'll appreciate that. We've got 4 incredibly amazing senior account directors. These are the people that lead the front line in terms of managing our support team. And these 4 people, mind you, they're also 4 incredibly experienced women in the industry. And
women, you're hiring girls?
So we've got 4. We've got a woman.
Being facetious, I'm just playing.
We've got Lainey Allman. She heads up our strategic development team. We've got Jennifer Beckman, strong talent in the industry. And then we've got 2 other incredibly experienced women as well, Ann D. St. Aubin and Sue Jacobson. These 2 women came from Tosley Ford in Minneapolis, or in the state of Minnesota, northern Minnesota. It was the most profitable Ford store in all of AutoNation.
Yes, I know.
They were there for about 30 years. Now, these 2 women.
Miss St. Albans spoke in my last battle plan.
I remember that. She did a great job for you. And so here's the key. To have 2 people like that in the industry, it doesn't matter to me, female or male, but with this level of experience, these guys are solid leaders. They understand the soft skills approach to be able to handle dealers. They understand how to talk to dealers. And to have these 2 women on top of having Jennifer and Lainey as well, to be able to guide based on their in-store experience changes the whole game, in my opinion. So these 4 ladies are just, they're incredible.
Well, see, that impresses me, because I do business with James Klaus all the time, and and
give one of those girls a call too as well.
Yeah. Klaus is so much brighter than he looks. And he's not only a great personality, he's just a great guy to know.
James is great. A little trivia fact for you too. I don't know if you knew this or not, but one of James' favorite things to do in the fall is to travel to upstate New York to look at the fall foliage when it turns brown, and all the brown and green and the red and all the colors. That's one of James' favorite pastimes. Ask him about that next time you see him.
Okay, he watches the leaves change. Okay, now if they want to contact your company, he's the go-to guy for you, right?
You can contact him directly.
I'm gonna put his number up on the screen here.
Absolutely, and you can call.
There it is. James Klaus. Now, if you want to find out and get a demo or have your entire marketing plan evaluated by Dealer Teamwork. I mean, and you'll do an in-depth, true reporting, no punches pulled.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll take care of all that. And again, you can call James. You can contact sales at Dealer Teamwork. Just visit our website. We're proud of that. We've just launched a brand new website. I'd love for everybody to take a look at that. DealerTeamwork.com. Check that out. We're proud of the growth that we've had. We've just had tremendous success with the amount of people that we brought in, and not only the number, but the quality of talent that we've had. Minneapolis is just such a wonderful place in the United States for talent and great workforce. But reach out to us like that. We've got forms on the site. You can take.
I got some experience with Minneapolis. What do you know about Minneapolis?
I just know that it's a hell of a place to live. James and Sean are constantly on my back to get my butt out there. I'll tell you. One
of my first accounts was Rudy Luther of the Luther dealerships up there, and this was the original, real Rudy Luther. I mean, Dad. I mean, I dealt with Dad himself.
That's a great organization. They're huge, absolutely huge. There's a lot of groups like that out there.
Wonderful people. And hey, we got a little sidebar information going here. Jason Rice says James Klaus is awesome. And Klaus comes back really funny, Eric Miltsch. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't have an idea.
They're thanking each other. I mean, we got a lot of bromance going on the side with him and Jason Rice.
Everybody loves James. He is such a great guy. Great family guy, but he made a huge leap of faith. Well, you know the story. I don't know if anybody else does. He was an initial early customer of ours, fell in love with the platform, saw the forest for the trees, just as I said I did early on, and he literally called us and said, I want to work for you guys. I want to sell this product. And sure enough, he came in, he attached himself to Sean's hip for 30 days, learned the product, started selling it, and it hasn't looked back since. And he's risen the ranks, came in as a salesperson, became a director of sales, VP of sales, and we recently just promoted him to chief sales officer. So congratulations to James. If anybody sees him, make sure you pat him on the back. But he deserves every piece of that. He's been instrumental in helping us build the company as well. And we honestly wouldn't be where we are today without him. So
we got Alex Snyder on the sidebar here.
Oh no, I can only imagine what Alex has got.
Well, he says I love bromance.
He knows what that's all about too.
Oh my gosh. So Dealer Teamwork, you guys, I've seen your results. The first dealer I referred to you was about 2 years ago in your infancy, was one of my dealers in Florida.
Yeah.
And your results with him were astounding. That was the first time I looked at your numbers from an insider point of view, because I was inside that organization. I said, wow, this is really working, and this is because I'm very skeptical of vendors.
I know you're a hard one to impress, and we were fortunate enough to not only get your blessing on that, but obviously be able to manage a good friend of yours as well, and be able to demonstrate that. We want to, we don't want to just prove to one. We want to prove to everybody, obviously. And the performance numbers speak for themselves, but we find that we're also very, very proud of how the dealers, whether it's someone that we don't know or a close relationship like you, that you send to us, the feedback that we get on the customer service is phenomenal, and we're very, very proud of that. And we strive to do that. And that's, again, based on the certification, the training, the support that we give to them. And on top of that, it's really just a great culture that we've created. And, if there is anybody out there, we actually just posted 2 recent job openings too in our Minneapolis office for account managers and search managers. And if anybody wants to take a look at the career positions that we have.
If some of the rumors around the internet are true, there's going to be a lot of people coming out of Vermont pretty soon.
Well, you said that, I didn't. But, but again, the important
I don't know what's true or what's not true. As I said, but there might be a lot of tech people in the market soon.
I know. We try not to focus in on that. All we want to focus in on, obviously, is the fact that we've got something that makes a difference, and we want to put our energies into that. And the feedback, like I said, is from a customer service standpoint. That's what means a lot to me. Keep in mind, Jim, when we started it, it was me and Sean and James and Katie and Christian and James and Pat and Dan, the original people. That was our names out there. And if I'm going to do something, I want it to be good. I want it to be better than good. So I wanted, I didn't want to be embarrassed. And I tell this to Sean to this day. I don't want to make something or recommend that we build something that misses a gap. And sure, we're not perfect. There are still some gaps in there. We try to be proactive to figure those things out, but we don't want to ever put our sales team or account management team or search team in a position where somebody can call it out for the basic things that a lot of things are missing these days. We've done a really, really hard job. Like I said, we paid so much close attention to just, even the length of our landing page. How many words are on it? Does it have deep links? The page titles. That's one of something like the bane of my existence for 3-4 years now is, I see a page title that isn't, up to par. I want that stuff to be perfect.
You've always been a perfectionist, and you were one of the first car geeks I ever met.
I appreciate that.
And that's said in a very loving way. That's
I know.
You're one of the techno car guys. Here you were selling 8,000 pre-owned cars in a big, major metropolitan market.
Yeah. Here's
was it? Or was it?
Well, we were in 4 markets, actually. We were in multiple markets, but the same thing holds true.
But what cities?
Well, we were in Jacksonville, Florida. We were in Raleigh, North Carolina. We were in Rochester, New York. We were in Buffalo, New York. And again, we were so far ahead of the time back then. We even had a mall store. This was years before Tesla.
And you weren't in the biggest markets in the country, is what I'm getting at.
They were decent markets, but they weren't, not the
decent markets. Right. Rochester's where I first became aware of you.
Yeah. But you said a key thing there, Jim, and I want to remind everybody of that. The technical aspect of it. And it's a simple concept, again, that most people don't realize. Technical SEO is the foundation of, really of all content marketing and any marketing campaign, for that matter, in my opinion, because if you don't have the technical basis down for those key elements for your content itself to be found, how are you ever going to expect your customers to find it when they do their searches? So that's, again, something that we worked long and hard to make sure was as best as we could do. Put it like that. It wasn't perfect. It still isn't perfect today, but we're constantly looking to improve on all those opportunities to be able to make sure that the technical foundation is as true as can be, so that when somebody does those searches, we've got the content that'll be able to match the relevancy of the query. And that's really all it comes down to. So once we hit that base of the technical SEO, now we can start working on some of the other elements, that exist within the on page, or just, now we're, for instance, we're moving on to.
Well, how economical is this? I know people are being asked to pay lead providers and otherwise $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month for some of these services. What do you guys, are you economical?
Absolutely. So I would say on an average basis, we could have net savings anywhere from 50 to 70% savings over these alternative solutions. Mainly because. You ever see
that movie Home Alone?
Of course. So, and here's the reason why. It's very simple. So instead of paying these large dollar amounts,
70% savings.
Yeah, absolutely. So why throw good money after bad to have your vehicles listed on multiple underperforming type of channels when you haven't even taken care of your own house yet? And our phrase has been, we're not building a new house, we're just redecorating a few rooms in it to make it look a lot better. So, and not only look better, but function a lot better. So we're fixing a lot of the other technical elements and just the other experiential elements that exist within the website. And so, for us to be able to put into the website experience and to put into the entire omnichannel approach, Jim, to be able to make that whole process, like I said originally, based on 3 factors. What were they? Create, distribute, and manage highly relevant merchandised vehicle information. That's as simple as it gets. And being able to do something like that at our price points, you wind up coming in so much lower than so many more of the available competitors out there that exist today. And it doesn't have to be that way. And again, why do most dealers complain about the margin compression? There's so many different factors, and I believe one of the factors itself that goes unnoticed and really people miss the mark on, unfortunately, is the amount of wasted spend that exists with both the external individual products that they keep stacking, or it's just the wasted ad spend that exists within these campaigns. And again, if there was better reporting, more accountability, better education around the topics, you'll be able to create a value of circle around all three of those topics and come back and realize, yeah, you know what? I don't need to spend $12,000 on an external campaign when I can just optimize my site, put these right elements in, use this platform, and distribute my campaigns outright, change a few of my processes internally. You got to have the right dealership as well. That's why, again, I say that's why there's teamwork is in the name. The teamwork truly does obviously make that dream work in terms of being able to make the entire process. If you get a guy, whether I don't care if it's a new guy to the industry or an old dinosaur, you still have to have some type of element of adaptability in the way that you approach your day-to-day efforts. And people have to realize that dynamic, personalized economy has changed the whole nature of the game. And unfortunately, you might have a dealership that doesn't want to change, and they're going to keep going down that old world path. And right there, that's an unfortunate starting point. But again, more to the point, those dealers that are willing to be able to change, be adaptable, and take a look at what that new world opportunity exists with these platforms like us, and the ability to create an omnichannel approach. Now you have the ability to truly understand how this change is happening within the industry. And those dealers that embrace it, Jim, they change everything. And again, we're not looking to replace people. We're not looking to take people out of their jobs. We're not looking to do any of that type of stuff. We're just looking to educate the dealer on the new world of marketing within this type of economy now.
How many times have you seen me reinvent myself?
Just in the last month, I don't know. Jesus, you didn't stop. And kudos to you. It's brilliant.
43 years I've been doing this. 43 years.
God bless you.
And I've seen the changes come and go, and I've tried to stay on the wave ahead of them.
And you do a fantastic job of that. And you rely on the strength of the friends and followers and the community that you've built. So that's a testament. There's not a lot of people that I know that can do that. And and I remember years ago, you actually said to me I think it was at an NADA, you actually said to me, what else should I be looking at? You just know how to ask the right questions. And I think the bigger picture here is more dealers need to take that type of approach, Jim, that you take in terms of saying, what should I be looking at? How should I be changing? Because if dealers don't realize right now, obviously with the market down and flat, mostly across the board so far this year, they need to be asking those questions. How should I change my approach? What should I be looking at? I mean, we have some really, really deep conversations, Jim, in terms of what are the key things that you should be looking at. It was easy 3 years ago when, it was like when the stock market was booming. You throw a dart at the board, and no matter what you picked, it went up and doubled, tripled. Well, it was the same thing before. Buy a car, price it, you sell it, you make it gross. Well, now the market's different. So what has to change with that? How many times have you asked the dealer this? How long does it take your vehicle to be your vehicle's your average time for frontline ready, to be available for sale for frontline readiness? Most dealers don't even know the question. What the answer to that question is, and that's ridiculous in my opinion. Or if you ask a dealer, what's your, especially now with the market changing, you got to focus in on used cars. Obviously, used cars have a much better opportunity. Most dealers don't even know what the average amount of their inventory that's priced over 60 days. I'm sure.
Well, I got to tell you, back in 1994. Now, can you think back that far?
No.
1994, Lynn Hickey Dodge.
I wasn't even in the industry then.
1994, they sold 2,817 units in June of 94, which is still the Guinness Book of World Records for retail.
Wow.
And, they were state of the art. This was a cowboy that started off in a wash rack. I mean, Oklahoma City. I mean, they were doing things at that dealership that nobody else was doing. And I was proud to go out there and become a small part of it and watch and observe. And there was a wholesaler that came up there that didn't even have a franchise. And he studied the Lynn Hickey system. and he became a franchise dealer shortly thereafter. And everything he does now is huge.
That's Fusillo.
It was Fusillo.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a wholesaler, didn't even have a franchise yet.
That's a great story.
And I met Billy out there, in June of '94 when they set the world records, and it was amazing. He took what he learned, came back and improved on it. He modernized, became the number one Hyundai dealer in the world.
Right. And the key to that is, again, he realized what he had to do, to be successful and to change. And again, I think that's what's lacking across the board right now. And not enough dealers have that type of mindset and mentality, or even the foresight to be able to say, hey, you know what? Things are a little different right now. The entire, who moved my cheese mindset, and the dealers aren't thinking like that. And again, I hate to say it, but the dealers that don't realize that changing of the guard from old world to new world are not going to hit the promised land in terms of, the success that they need to get. Get rid of the wasted spend alone, Jim, and you're gonna see a huge fix.
Dealers are wasting so much money on bad marketing that doesn't work. Well, I tell dealers, don't trust statistics about a vendor supplied by the vendor.
Well, I knew one or two, Jim, and I'm sure everybody has seen this. Be very leery and cautious at best when the dealer's presentation opens with four simple words rather, but two phrases: artificial intelligence and machine learning. If somebody leads with that with regards to their presentation, listen hard, listen to see how it, because again, if the solution itself is not unique enough, and believe me, there are a lot of solutions right now that unfortunately I would call very commoditized type of elements, that there's a lot of similar stuff. Look for those things obviously that are unique, set themselves apart, and look for the true value that answers that question for that acronym DISC.
There's only one thing that a vendor can say that would really turn me off. Or there's not only one thing, but there is one thing. You only need 3 more sales to pay for this.
Absolutely.
It's only 3 cars.
That's a closing line. More cars. That's a closing line that needs to be buried and locked up and never used again. We're trying to take a much more sophisticated approach, Jim, and go raise the bar a little bit higher. And anybody that knows that's worked with Sean, I've used this phrase for years on him. Sean likes to play above the rim, and he goes, he's always at 11, and he likes to move fast.
It's hard for him to play above the rim at that height. Sean was really excited last time I talked to him. We heard they were doing a remake of Wizard of Oz.
Well, the good thing is that Sean doesn't need the height; he's got the speed, and so with that, he's a heavyweight in the market, as far as I'm concerned. And again, he's one of those guys that's blessed with the vision as well. So collectively, as a group, for us to be able to understand and say, hey, you know what? There's a great opportunity out there, and it's very simple. The dealers need to take that step back, take a deep breath, take a look at the leadership, the culture, how you're retaining those people, the processes, the inspection, obviously, of those processes, and just use that as your baseline, benchmark to be able to find that waste and find, whether it's waste in talent or, maybe you got the person doing the right person, but the wrong job for them. We've had so many different people in our company that have bounced around to different places. Even myself, when we started, I keep moving from place to place to be able to, add value where needed. Sean has done that. James did that even within the sales group.
How can you verify your value? I mean,
to the dealer,
metrics can you show the dealer that what you do works?
At the end of the day, it's very, very simple. Again, go back to DISC, doesn't sell cars. Can we show them the phone calls? Can we show them the lead forms? Can we show them everything that we contributed? Being able to set things up properly. And again, another major gap. Most dealers don't even have the ability, or most solutions themselves lack the ability, Jim, to be able to allow the dealer, the account manager, the search manager, or even just the internal employee to be able to truly, simply understand and use the technology that they're using to be able to see those phone calls.
That's what I wanted to get out of you, Eric. And that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
Again, we're not going to sit there and call people and just say, Bob, guess what? Your marketing this month has done fantastic. We'll call you next Tuesday. That's not productive. That's why most dealers don't want to have the call with the dealer. Would you agree with that? That's why they don't like it. So if we can give them
it's
something,
the Jerry Maguire thing, show me the money, show me the car sales. You can take your damn attribution and shove it where the sun don't shine.
So if we can take it,
we got attribution, quit it.
Absolutely. We don't want to focus in on those false type of indicators. We want to focus in on those things that demonstrate the value. But I'll take it one step higher, Jim. For us to be able to show those true performance contribution metrics, even like I said, if it's something newer like an in-store visit, but even better, it's the ability for our search managers and account managers to be able to understand what the problems is that the dealers have each week in terms of trying to create a newer campaign. Maybe it's a conquest, maybe it's a trade-in campaign, maybe it's could be a regional
relevant content. You're always adjusting. You're always shifting.
Absolutely.
I get so sick of hearing about attribution. Show me the deal.
Absolutely. And that's where we want to be able to focus in on those conversations, because there's two things that are happening. Now, the person on the other end of the phone, whether it's a sales manager, e-com manager, internet manager, whatever you want to call them, GM, GSM, all the way up to the dealer principal. Now they walk away from our call knowing one thing, Jim, and it's super simple. They walk away saying, geez, that was easy to understand. The technology is easy to use. And most importantly, we understand what they're doing, in terms of contributing to our performance opportunity. We show them that value. Anything different is just a waste of time, and people are just yapping away. And we don't want to waste our time with it. We certainly don't want to waste
smoke and mirrors out there. You guys are coming on with this genuine approach.
Absolutely.
And you'll document you'll document what you do.
We've got a whole new thing that we're super excited about too. We're introducing a whole new reporting platform that is much simpler. We've been using Google Data Studio, which if anyone isn't familiar with, ask us. We'll happy to give you a product demo on that. But Google Data Studio basically takes regular Google Analytics, simplifies it down, makes it much more pleasant to look at, if you will. Easier to digest, much more easier on the eyes, but it can be customized to be able to show these things. So we've learned from that. We've taken it the next mile, and now we've got a beautiful, brand new, very, very simplistic type of approach with a brand new reporting platform. Again, it's not a personal, it's not a customized third party. This is still just analytics that your data that we're pulling into this reporting to make it even easier. And that's literally our tagline, Jim. We make digital marketing easier to understand and use.
If you're not getting the full potential from your website, you guys will maximize opportunities. That's I tell dealers all the time, grow or die. You cannot stay where you are.
And again, to that point, huge point, Jim. I appreciate you bringing that up. There's, in terms of the homepage conversion optimization, again, things like just the call to actions on the homepage, customizing those, getting the right 301 redirects in place, getting rid of dead end marketing pages, cleaning up the bloat in the navigation. All that stuff helps with your organic placement, helps improve the site experience, and even on top of that, it helps with the mobile UI UX as well. It makes it easier, an easier online experience. And then from there, we're cleaning up the rest of the site experience. So again, it's easier for the dealers or for the customer to find the dealer's content, again, that does what? That answers their question. And what are the main questions they have? We don't position the website necessarily from our perspective to be a true research tool. Most people have already done that elsewhere. So now they're in the purchase phase. What do you do when you do the purchase phase? You're looking for those things that would help be the catalyst for conversion, or at least a deeper engagement. And again, we're tracking all of that to be able to demonstrate, here's how we help you at the end of the day with your dollars that you're spending on this marketing. And again, then we start tacking on the other elements for you to customize this dynamic, personalized platform by including those assets that are so important. Again, Jim, I know you've heard James talk about it, but the one piece of the MPOP that is wildly popular that contributes to performance is that email component. Once the dealers make their offers and their campaigns, it prepares the content in real time so the dealer can make a customized email campaign with either a vehicle they're interested in, or on top of that, being able to look at other vehicles that they may be interested in. But here's the thing. It's including the values, the pricing, the transactional data, but it's also allowing the trackability all the UTM tags are baked in. Doesn't matter what they click on. The CTAs are customizable. So again, it just saves time. It saves the entire process, changes the entire process. So it works very well. And then, for us, again, to be able to tie that in, I keep coming back to it, and I'll say it till the day I die. But the fact is, we've literally changed the way the dealers create and manage these omni-channel type of approaches. So it's a complete type of it's a completely different approach, and the dealers have to have that willingness to adapt to that approach.
Well, guess what, big guy? We're all the way at the end of our hour.
Geez,
My gosh, it flew, didn't it?
It did.
I gotta tell you. Okay, let me wrap it up here.
Sure.
Now, this is Eric Miltsch. Eric is one of my personal friends. I mean, a lot of people say people in the car business are their friends. This guy is my friend. I mean, so understand that. Matter of fact, all the people at Dealer Teamwork are my friends. I haven't met anybody there that I didn't like and talk behind their back. Everybody at Dealer Teamwork is a genuine friend of mine. So I like what I see.
Well,
I haven't heard a bad word about him from anybody that wasn't a competitor.
That means a lot coming from you, and we appreciate your friendship as well. We always appreciate the support that you give us, and we appreciate what you've done for the industry as well all this time. So you'll give them a free market analysis of everything they're doing, without prejudice. You won't trash anybody unnecessarily. You'll come in there and take a true unbiased look at their marketing and give them a factual report on what's working, what's not working. And that they're not obligated to buy your services. No, worst case scenario, someone's going to walk away with a couple of real nice golden nuggets that they might be able to go back and take a look at and say, you know what, how do I fix this? But
they can call James Klaus. His number's on the screen right now.
We just want to share the value, Jim. That's all we want to do, and we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to do that.
Okay, well, listen, big guy, this has been a very informative hour. I mean, we've talked about a lot. We had a little humor in there, Sean's actually taller than that, but anyway,
That's great.
He can't stay in a hotel with more than 5 floors. He can't reach the elevator buttons. No, I wouldn't pick on him if I didn't love him. I'll tell you.
No,
good friends, all of them.
Last jaw too. He can take it, but he's a powerful person.
Debbie and I are coming up to visit him at his house sometime when it warms up there.
You mentioned that too. Absolutely, he's very excited about that. You're going to love it up there.
When it warms up there, August.
Yeah, you get about 3 weeks of no snow up there in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, guy, have a great day. It's been a great broadcast. I'm gonna put this on LinkedIn. It's gonna be all over the internet. I'm gonna send you an MP4 download of the broadcast today, so you'll be able to use it for whatever you want to use it for.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. Say hi to Debbie, and good luck with the move, and enjoy that new Aviator that you got coming.
It's all going to be good. Take care.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Bye.